Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel, where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And I'm going to talk about this question that a lot of victims of narcissistic abuse ask themselves, which is, am I the narcissist? This video is not designed for people who have been diagnosed with MPD. It's not designed for people who are narcissists, right? This channel is for the people affected by narcissistic abuse, but it's very common that a victim will start questioning whether they're the narcissist. Part of it is because your behavior has become toxic and distorted. Part of it is the cognitive dissonance, because we get cognitive dissonance for a number of reasons. One of it is we are trying to protect ourselves from actually acknowledging what they've done to you, what you've been through. So it's hard for our mind to accept this is the person I love. Cognitive dissonance is simply the idea that your brain cannot hold on to two opposing ideas. So it can't hold on to this person loves me. Yeah, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's my parent, whoever, and they abuse me. So part of our healing journey is acknowledgement of what's happened to us. What's happened to us, why that behavior is wrong. I do this in the sovereign process when we actually look and break the cognitive dissonance, right? You're perfectly capable of doing it, but you have to understand that the cognitive dissonance isn't something you can't overcome. You can actually very easily overcome it to a large extent by being willing to sit with yourself and face the truth of it, right? A lot of us prefer living in denial. Why? Because we don't want to grieve, right? The first stage of, I take people, my private clients, I actually kind of accelerate their grieving process for them so they heal fast, right? Because what you're not wanting to do a lot of the time is give up on the illusion of the person that you are now basically living in a shared illusion, right? A joint fantasy of the person that you want them to be that they are not. So the first thing is to really look at what's happened to you. You know inside it's not right, the behavior, and understand that part of the cognitive dissonance is a protective mechanism for us to not, because trauma creates a lot of shock in the body. So you get to choose when you're ready to heal, but you have to acknowledge what's happened to you and why it was wrong. That breaks part of that. The other reason that we have cognitive dissonance is because all human beings want unconditional love, yeah? Most of us just look for it in all the wrong places. So again, in Sovereign, I teach us about unconditional love, which starts with self-focusing and self-partnering. In fact, love is a side effect of us not betraying and abandoning ourselves. We're naturally born to love ourselves, in fact. So another part of this is very deep subconsciously, right? You're not aware of this, right? But very deep subconsciously, the human being cannot face the fact, a healthy human being, not a narcissist, that they're unlovable. And so the reason we would rather say, well, maybe I'm the narcissist, all that kind of stuff in our minds, even though we think our minds are logical, they are so not. They are often they are not logical, but they are a protective mechanism for us a lot of the time. But sometimes we need to reprogram them in more healthy ways. So what happens in this cycle is the brain resists the idea that it's unlovable, because humans can't survive on the planet easily believing that they're incapable of being loved, right? Love is a human need. And so, although it sounds backwards, we want to protect ourselves and believe that we're lovable. And it can be because what the brain has made it mean, if this person is actually abusing you, is somehow you're unlovable. That's what I talked about when I really understood all my processes subconsciously around my family. It was because it would mean fundamentally that you're unlovable. If my parents don't love me, I'm unlovable. Now, a human can't survive in the world thinking that, right? So part of why you'd rather say, well, maybe I'm the narcissist, maybe I'm the wrong one, is because that still makes you lovable. It doesn't make you unlovable. It makes you maybe distorted, but your subconscious mind will not allow you to believe that you're completely unlovable. This is why people defend themselves and, stand up for their behavior a lot of the time when they're triggered, and they know inside they're wrong, because we have a defense mechanism. It's survival related, that we can't accept that we're not unlovable. We all want unconditional love. We just look for it in all the wrong places, don't know how to be sovereign and come home. So join Sovereign next time it's open if you can, because it's an important point. So just understand this is part of a survival mechanism in you, that you would do this. But ultimately, what you're not wanting to do is face what's happened to you and who this person is. What you want to do is cling on to the fantasy. It's the same reason why you'll relapse. It's the same reason why we live in denial. A lot of this is living in denial, right? And the stages of grief, the first stage of grief is denial, right? We don't want to accept the truth. So it's a normal process that you're going through. Now, are you a narcissist? Do you constantly deceive, manipulate and lie? Let's give you a checklist. Do you constantly deceive, lie and manipulate people to get your own way? You might, after being in these cycles, lie in some circumstances to your friend about what's going on or to protect yourself. But it's not a great way to live, but it's different to get something from them. Narcissists lie, deceive and manipulate, don't care what that means to other people, in order to get what they want. If they want sex from you, they'll say they're single, they'll say they love you, they'll say whatever they want. If they want money from you, they'll make up a story and pretend they love you and get your resources. They will lie, deceive and manipulate for an agenda, not for defense. If you're lying in your life, it's not going to feel good to you. But a lot of people who are not narcissists do tell lies, but normally just to protect themselves, right? Or because they don't know how to communicate. And some people, toxic people, will interrogate you all the time and ask for information that you're not willing to give. And we haven't always learned how to say, no, I don't want to talk about that. That's none of your business. Or I don't want to talk about other people. Right? We don't have the kind of relationship where I feel safe to have these conversations. I'd rather keep my personal life to myself. That's different. Number 2, do you get off on causing people hurt and pain? The narcissist knows they hurt you. They get a hit from it. In fact, when they go out and betray you, they get a hit in the energy field. They get off on it. Do you, when you see someone in pain and suffering, feel a high? Do you get a hit off it? If you do, you could be a narcissist, frankly. But if you don't, you won't be. They get off on it. They know they cause you pain. They know what they're doing. They know they're confusing you. Confusion is still pain. Living in confusion, stress, drama, chaos. Do you get off on inflicting that on other people? If you do, you could be a narcissist. Do you, again, linked to the lie things, go out to get what you want and don't care at all about the consequences to other people? Narcissists are notoriously reckless. They don't care. They think they're above God, above the law, above other people, above morality, above everything. Do you not care at all about the consequences of your actions, especially as it relates to other people, but in any way? If you don't and you're completely reckless in how you behave, it's something else that they do. When you know you've hurt someone, person, animal, you've lied, you've betrayed, you've done something, do you feel no remorse and guilt for it? Do you feel no remorse, guilt and shame for your actions and the hurt you cause on other people? If you feel no remorse, guilt and shame, you could be a narcissist. Very likely that you are. Might not be, because, as I've talked about in Sovereign, there are some kids that have different things. I don't want to get too technical, that lack empathy, but they're not aimed maliciously, intentionally to hurt people. So there are people on our planet that have different levels of empathy. It does not make you a narcissist. So some people don't feel much emotional response and empathy to others, but they still know it's wrong and they don't want to hurt anyone. If you intentionally hurt people, use emotional manipulation, emotional hurt to get your way, don't care about the consequences, are prepared to lie, betray, do whatever it takes to get what you want, no matter what it does to other people, then that's narcissism. If that's not you, then drop the question, face the truth, get out of the denial and start focusing on what they did to you, why it was wrong, and what you actually need to be looking at right now to heal, which is first step, awareness, on what's happened to you, what went on, why is it not okay, what's really going on. When I say self-focused, I mean focus on how you feel and the truth, right? I don't mean now start attacking yourself and being part of the delusion. Part of the delusion and illusion is that we are still trying to protect the lie, right, subconsciously. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe they're not wrong, to still protect us from looking at the truth that I've been abused, it's shocking, it's terrible, and I've got to heal. Focus on your healing, yeah, not on making, not on, even though you think, well, if I'm thinking I'm the narcissist, how is that protecting them? It's because it's protecting the illusion. It's protecting the illusion, and you're still trying not to look at the truth of how they've treated you, which is shocking, which you need healing for, which, you know what I mean, is still a necessary part of evolving past it. You've outgrown the narcissist if you're here, and we sometimes still want to cling on to the illusion rather than heal. Heal, and on the other side of it, you won't ever be a match for a narcissist again, right? You've got so much more going for you if you, and like just resisting that peace causes a roadblock that you don't need to be in. If you get off on other people's pain, sure, you could be a narcissist. If you have been traumatized and do something in retaliation, that's a different thing, right? A narcissist does things completely unprovoked, by the way, just to get off on it. But understand, what am I really resisting? Am I resisting looking at the truth? Most of you are. When you're asking yourself if you're a narcissist, you're refusing to acknowledge what's really happened to you. It's just part of it, but understand it's protecting you from seeing what they are, right? Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.